It was the weight of it, not the metal itself, but the sheer, impossible weight of what it represented. They brought the fragments in, carefully, of course, but I remember thinking how light they felt in the box, almost like nothing. Then I saw the script, the strange, almost childish Hebrew, etched into the copper. That's when the real weight settled. I wasn't supposed to read it, not really. My job was the preservation, the careful separation of the layers, the stabilization. But you can't work with something like that, something so utterly unique, without letting it seep into you. The first few lines I pieced together, just from the fragments I was handling, were enough. In the ruin that is in the valley of Acre, under the steps, 40 cubits deep, a chest of silver and gold. It wasn't a poem, it wasn't a prophecy. It was a list. A list of places and amounts. I started seeing numbers everywhere. 40 cubits. 60 talents. 200 talents. My mind, which usually focused on pH levels and humidity, began to calculate. How much was a talent? How much gold was that, really? Enough to change lives, to build cities, to start wars. And it was all there, on the table, in pieces. One evening, after everyone else had left, I found myself tracing a particular phrase with my finger. In the great cistern which is in the courtyard, in a recess in its floor, sealed with plaster, 900 talents. 900. I closed my eyes and tried to picture it. Not the gold itself, but the act of hiding it. The men, working in the dark, the fear, the hope. Were they coming back for it? Did they ever? I started taking a different route home, walking past old, forgotten buildings, looking at their foundations, their cisterns. It was absurd, I knew. The locations were ancient, long gone, buried under millennia of dust and new construction. But the thought, the tiny, persistent whisper, was there. What if? What if one of those places still existed, just a little? I never spoke about it, not the way it got into my head. My colleagues talked about the linguistic challenges, the historical context. I just nodded, thinking about the weight of 900 talents. I even bought a small, cheap metal detector once, just to see. It sat in my closet, still in its box. I never took it out. It felt like a betrayal, somehow, to the scroll itself. Its purpose wasn't to make me rich. Its purpose was to exist, to tell its story, even if that story was just a list of impossible dreams. Eventually, the work was done. The fragments were stabilized, documented, put into their display cases. The weight lifted, not entirely, but enough. The numbers faded from my daily thoughts. The scroll was no longer a personal burden, a secret map whispering possibilities. It was history, preserved. And I was just the person who helped keep it that way. The treasure, if it ever existed, was never mine to find. And that, I realized, was perfectly fine.